This is KMJ at KMJnow.com or wherever you stream. This is attorney Marc Kapetan. Welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show. Today's show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. We've been serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense and you're about to be prosecuted by my next guest, give the Kapetan Brothers a call at 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we're the Valley's law firm. Hey, folks, Arc Mediterranean Grill, thanks to our sponsor, the Arc Mediterranean Grill. 2 locations if you're looking for some great Mediterranean food. One on Champlain Drive in Fresno, and the other one in Clovis on Herndon Avenue. Lulu kebabs, beef kebabs, all that kind of great Mediterranean food. The Kezian brothers, we love them, and they make great food. So go to the Arc Mediterranean Grill for lunch or dinner, or take some home if you need to take some home, and maybe take some for the office for lunch. All right, folks, triumph can be fleeting. It was only a matter of months ago that I had an extraordinary young man on my show, Peter Park. He's the youngest person to ever pass the California bar exam. At the ripe old age of 17 years, Mr. Park was California's youngest attorney, and he became California's youngest attorney, I think officially when you turned 18. But, well, you think such a feat would be a record that would last for decades, sort of like Babe Ruth. You guys don't know who Babe Ruth is, do you?
I've heard of.
You've heard of him, great. God, Tim. Sort of like Babe Ruth, his home run record, but along came the legal equivalent of Hank Aaron. You probably don't know who Hank Aaron is, do you?
No.
Yeah, you don't, right? He actually broke Babe Ruth's home run record. To break Peter Park's record, a new heavy hitter in the legal field was Peter's little sister, Sophia. Now, to his credit, Peter predicted Sophia's success and welcomed his sister's attempt to break his record. So now, at the young age of 17 years and 8 months?
Yes.
How many days? 8 months and how many days?
I don't know the days.
You don't know the days. Sophia passed the California bar exam, slightly younger by about 3 months than Peter, right?
Yes.
And she's now interning at the Tulare County District Attorney's Office. Today, the two of them are here to discuss Sophia's achievements. Peter, remember it's Sophia's show today. And compare their experiences in the pursuit of law. So I'd like to welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show from the Tulare County District Attorney's Office, Peter Park, and welcome the youngest attorney in California. My uncle used to always say, once you pass the bar, you're an attorney, right? You don't have to wait for that swearing in and all that stuff. Sophia Park. Let's not forget to mention the two of them are being accompanied by their much, much older member of the Tulare County District Attorney's Office, the head honcho himself, District Attorney Tim Ward. Welcome, all you guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Is this like maybe 10% of the District Attorney's Office over there?
Yes, this is, yeah.
Pretty much, yes.
Sophia.
This is our trial team.
This is the trial team. There you go. You're building a dynasty, Tim. Okay. Your quote, Sophia, was, I don't think it was extremely difficult.
Yes, I remember when the news station quoted me on that article. It was a fleeting comment where I said I didn't think it was very difficult as to, I guess, the difficulty level of like the questions. It was more of the difficulty as in there's so much to study in a limited period of time.
Wait a minute. Okay, so to everybody out there who failed the bar and to all the attorneys out there who, probably made it by the skin of their teeth, including me, your comment is, it wasn't, it was difficult by the amount of work, but not really by the questions.
So my dad always told my brother and me when we were studying, everything is difficult until it becomes familiar. And I think for me, my mindset was until I get familiar with this, it's going to feel difficult, but eventually once I get it, it's going to start rolling. And I think that was my mindset.
Well, okay. That may be one of the most mature things I've ever heard, okay? And obviously, we are a product of our dad. You can see my dad right behind me here, okay? of course, he had a crew cut. I don't have a crew cut, but it's a beautiful way of saying study and study again and study again, which a kid doesn't want to study, but to sit there and say you could take the fear away from it, you could take the scariness of it by just making it familiar to you. Is that sort of how you went through law school and everything?
Right. So when I was studying for the bar exam, I was actually working full-time here with the office starting from January of last year, and the bar exam was July, and I would come home, I'd be exhausted because working takes a lot from you. Our office was gracious enough to allow me to study in the afternoons in my office, but I still felt like I needed to study a bit more once I got home. But it was really difficult for me to sit down and actually get going. But I needed to make this material familiar to me, and that meant repetition. So, go ahead.
No. I interrupted you, but what's killing me about this whole thing is, and I'm laughing to myself or smiling to myself because you say, coming home, I was exhausted. We came home, we were exhausted from playing, She laughs. Yeah, and you were exhausted from studying, and you were appreciative to your job at the district attorney's office to give you the time off so you could study for the bar exam. Coming from, at the time, which you were probably 16 to 17 years old or just becoming 17, it's just a concept that most people would be blown away by. Does this, it seems normal to you because you saw Peter go through it, or what?
I think I sometimes forget that I'm 17, and I think the work I do is like play for me, where I do take it seriously. It's very fun to see that the work I do makes a difference. Yeah. And I think, yes, that exhaustion also comes from doing work, but it also comes out of just also having a really good time.
Peter, you said this sort of a similar thing when I interviewed you a few months ago, is that the whether it was I think it was a Rubik's Cube challenge or something like that, right? Weren't you into something like that?
Yeah, so I in my elementary school years, I was super into Rubik's Cubes. I would come home, all I would do was solve Rubik's Cubes and practice to get my time faster.
But what I'm saying is your sister seems to have the same sort of ethos, and that is that you find fun in what would normally be considered studies or challenging brain work.
Yeah, so I think the culture kind of in our family is that we like to solve puzzles, do challenges with our brain, using our brain. I think we kind of like
Mom
that.
And Dad both like that too, Sophie?
Yes.
So both our parents, so my dad, he has a PhD in material science.
Yeah.
And our mom was a math teacher. So they're both from an intellectual background.
Yeah.
I think that kind of also helped us.
Oh my gosh. All right. So you're studying for the bar. How many hours a day are you studying for the bar?
I think when I started, I think just the couple months leading up to the exam, so maybe when I started working in January of last year to July, I think I was studying an average of 5 to 6 hours a day. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, then you are brilliant, and it was familiar too, because I was doing 10, 12 hours a day,
Well,
right.
Mark, if I could, let me brag a little bit upon the Tulare County. We were very blessed and supported by the county. As you know, there's a prosecutor shortage. The county allows, and I think, Peter, you took advantage of this as well. We have a program to where similarly situated candidates, and so anyone in your audience who's interested, it's still available, where they would come in the morning, they would be a intern law clerk for the office of the District Attorney County of Tulare, paid by us. And in the afternoon, they continued to get paid, and they locked themselves in the office provided by the office of the District Attorney County of Tulare and took part in a county-sponsored bar prep course where I wanted them in the office studying, and the only thing I asked for them, and the county asked for them afterward, is give us the right of first refusal. We will help you get your license and give us the right of first refusal.
Did you pick this up from somewhere else, or is this just an idea that you guys came up with over there?
No, out of desperation. As you know, there's a shortage. We were doing everything we can to kind of provide a culture. We wanted people to pass. Obviously, we knew both Sophia and Peter before taking the bar. We wanted them to be a torchbearer for our office.
I remember I counted at one point that I think it was before it was with your predecessor, that there had been 47 district attorneys had left the office in about a year and a half period of time. They would always want to hire an LA attorney or something like that, and it's like, okay, that's the kiss of death, because they're going to practice for a year, get a bunch of trials in, they're going to go back down to LA. So very smart that you're investing in basically your future as the district attorney's office. We're going to be right back with Sophia Park, Peter Park, and Tim Ward from the Tulare County District Attorney's Office. Right after this is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. Folks, if you have been in an accident, who do you call? Oh, you're drinking. You took a sip right when I asked, Marcella. If you've been in an accident, we can say it all together. Who do you call, Marcella?
The Kapetan Brothers.
The Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. You know that, right, Sophia? No, you don't have to say that. No, she said yes, folks. No, don't say that in front of your boss. No, seriously, folks, I'm going to pot the music down. If you've been in an accident, listen, I used to say this a long time ago. Call any attorney that you know. Find an attorney, because the best thing you could do is contact an attorney. If you have the funds, if not, wait for your public defender and talk to them. They have some great public defenders out there. And make sure that you're properly represented. It's a scary time. We understand that. If you've been in an accident, obviously contact a private attorney. But if you've been arrested for a criminal offense, contact your local attorney and hire them. Find someone good. Call the Kapetan Brothers, 559-498-8000. We are on with Sophia Park, who is the youngest person. Is it Sophia, to ever pass the California bar?
Well, we wouldn't know, because there might be someone who passed younger and didn't report it.
In the 1800s or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No. She's the youngest person to ever pass the California bar exam at 17 years, 8 months, and I'm just going to say like 3 days old, okay? Your brother was about 3 months off, 17 years, who's sitting here, Peter Park, 17 years, 11 months. And Tim Ward was like 49 when he passed the bar, your boss who's sitting here. Right, Tim?
Sure, Mark. Where? Sure.
All right, Sophia. So now, mind you, again, as confident and as familiar you are with the law after going to law school, and we're going to talk about law school and stuff, you get that moment. Where was the bar exam for you, by the way?
I took it in Pasadena.
In Pasadena. How many, big auditorium, or what was it?
Yes, big auditorium.
Okay, big auditorium, right. You get in that auditorium, and you know how it goes. You sit down, and they hand you the thing, and they say, don't turn over your... I don't know, you guys do it on computer, huh? Did you do it on computer or handwritten?
So the essay part is on the computer, but the multiple choice was the packet.
Sophia, it was all written back in my day. There was no computer. So, but they would turn over that little questionnaire and they say, okay, ready? Turn over, you may begin, right? Remember that? What goes through your head were you 16 or 17 at the time you took the exam?
I was 17.
Okay. What goes through your head?
First thing, I wonder if the proctors know that I'm 17, because my driver's license ID's on the table. I wonder if they notice that it says 2007 on there.
They're like, something's wrong here. You must obviously be taking it for someone else.
Yeah, they check everyone's, and I just look at their face like, okay, are they going to look at me weird?
You mean as you're taking the test, they go around and check your ID?
Oh, I guess that's before we start.
Okay.
Yes, right before we start. But when we're opening the packets, I think I was pretty nervous. I was shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
But I knew that I studied really, really hard for this exam. I think also because I knew my brother already passed. Now this is all out in the world, whereas my older brother, nobody knew about this when he was studying. So if he didn't pass the first time, it would be like, look, everybody, 18 or 19-year-old attorney. But for me, I was already in news articles saying, look who's next. There's his younger sister.
So you had that added pressure that you have to do this.
So I studied really, really hard, and I knew that I gave it my all.
Yeah.
So even even though I was nervous because this is the big moment, I think I still had that reassurance that because I tried my very best studying for this while working, I think I had some reassurance.
Okay, so when I took the bar, 3 people got up immediately and went outside and threw up. Okay, fellow students of mine. That's how nerve-wracking it is. Folks, if you don't understand this, that's how nerve-wracking the California bar is. You've done 3 years of maybe the most difficult studies you've ever done, 10 times harder than anything I ever did in college. And now it's all down to one moment. Did Dad and Peter, let me ask you this. Yes. Did you have that conversation with Sister like, hey, it's okay. If it doesn't work out, everything's fine?
I specifically remember this conversation. I think it was when we were getting ready for bed, and we were on the stairs, like going up to our room.
Do you have a curfew, by the way? Did you have a curfew? When you say, well, I'm getting ready for bed, does Dad say it's 10 o'clock, it's time to go to bed? No, I'm teasing you.
We don't have a specific curfew.
Okay, I'm teasing you guys, okay.
Like, my sister, she was acting a little bit more nervous than usual because it was kind of approaching the bar. And I kind of told her, like, it's not that big of a deal. It's like I was telling her like how little I studied, kind of telling her like you're studying a lot.
More, but were you lying to her basically?
I actually wasn't. Throughout my you went to law school for 3 years.
Yeah.
But we went to law school for 4 years, so it's a little bit more spread out. And the California bar requires you to study a certain amount of hours, and if you divide that by 365 days in a year, you get to about 2.5 hours a day. So my goal was 2.5 hours of studying a day.
Wow.
And some days I would not even get to 2.5 hours. As it approached the bar, I would study a lot more, like
well, believe me, the California bar has grossly underestimated the amount of studying, folks. I mean, we're doing 10-hour days regularly, and maybe because I'm an idiot, I don't know. And I don't mean that. And you guys obviously are brilliant. I know I'm joking when I talk about going to sleep and this and the other thing. You guys are brilliant. I know, Peter, you've been working as an actual attorney at the district attorney's office, but it's extraordinary to say that I was meeting that goal of 2 hours a day. I mean, you had to. I mean, so you get into the bar. To the exam. They say go. You start at the end of it. Oh, how many days? 2 days now?
2 days.
Okay, it used to be 3 days, all right? It used to be, I think, 3 essays the first day and a performance exam, which is a 3-hour exam, then 200 multiple choices the second day, and then it repeats the first day on the third day. Okay, so another 3 exams and a performance exam. I don't think you guys do the performance exam, right?
No, it's actually just one performance exam, and it's the same day as the essays.
So 3 essays?
No, 5 essays and 1 performance exam.
Okay. 1 hour essays?
1 hour essays and 1.5 hour performance exam.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, it was a 3-hour performance exam we did. Okay, so you do all that. At the end of it, do you sit there and go, nailed it?
No, actually, I told my dad, like, I think I did pretty good, but I wanted to be cautious because I knew that everyone in my office would be like, oh no, you passed. But I think the questions that I saw were topics that were less tested on the bar exam for the essay topics. They asked about like rule against perpetuities and like very specific rules. And
21 years plus.
Yes,
no, yeah,
but there's like
right?
there's like exceptions where it's like a wait and see rule that lasts for like I think 90 years. And I studied that in my MB section, so I was good. But I was like, man, what if I missed something?
Yeah.
Because this was something that wasn't tested frequently.
What was the one question that was that the one that threw you off, the property exam one?
I think property, I was all right with it because I knew the special rules. But civil procedure was strange too, where they asked about jury selection on the essay.
I wrote that down. Civil procedure. Yeah, that's everybody hated that. What was the easiest one for you? Con law and stuff like that. What was your favorite subject when you went to law school?
Oh, when I was studying, well, criminal law. Yeah. That's why I'm here with the DA's office.
All right. Yeah. Well, you're saying all the right things for boss man over there, Tim. Right? Right, Tim. Sure. Did you know that she was going to be going to law school and had contacted her early on like that?
Yeah,
turn that mic to you.
I think we came across Sophia early on from meeting Peter. Probably when we were first interviewing you, there was always this lingering shadow. Oh, Sophia's coming behind. And then as soon as we met her and hired her, shame on us in hindsight. I think we probably did put a lot of pressure on her because we were all convinced this was a guarantee.
It was a guarantee. Yeah. Well, it's funny that you actually said you were confident that you think you did pretty good because most people aren't, All right, we're going to get back to that because you also served in another office down south?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because that's an interesting topic right there. This is Sophia Park on the Marc Kapetan Show, the youngest person to ever pass the California bar exam. Sorry, Peter. You had it for a moment there. This is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. We'll be right back after this. This is KMJ at KMJnow.com or wherever you stream. Hey, folks, you could check out the Marc Kapetan Show at KMJ Now. You could check out the podcast of all the shows on KMJ. You could also check us out, the video. See the lovely Sophia Park and the very handsome Peter Park and the not so handsome Tim Ward from the Tulare County District Attorney's Office. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, all those social media sites, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Just smash. What do you guys say? What do the younger people say? Smash that like button.
Sure.
Smash the like button.
That's what they say.
Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Subscribe, like. What else do they say? I don't know.
Comment.
Share. There you no, don't comment. Please don't comment on our show. Please don't comment. Yeah, that's another one we'll have to add on the list of young things to say. We are on with Sophia Park, who is the youngest person to ever pass the California bar. I made a little joke at the end there saying, sorry, Peter, because you were the youngest person for about a year. But I got to say, Sophia, your brother was extremely sweet when I interviewed him as being the youngest at the time because he said, oh, no, absolutely, my sister's going to pass and she will be the youngest. I mean, not like, we'll see what happens. So he was very confident in you. So, okay, here's the timeline. You are 13 years old. You simultaneously go to junior high school in Cypress, California?
Yes.
Is that where you guys are from?
Yes, that's where we grew up.
That's where you grew up. Okay. You guys, does the family live in Tulare County?
Yeah, so after I got my job here as a law clerk, my dad decided we're going to move our entire family of 6 up to Tulare County.
So he's committed. He must love you guys because he just seems so committed to you guys. And so, same with mom, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. She's still making the Hey, I haven't come for the treats. She was making treats on Fridays, right?
Yeah, so she does sometimes make treats for the office on like Treat Thursdays.
Holidays.
Treat Thursdays.
She's like a professional Korean dessert maker, and she does like classes, or she used to do classes.
I got to go check. You're Korean, right? Full-blooded, right?
Yes.
Yoboseo. Hey, ready for this? Michim Namja. Do you know what that one? Michim Namja. What does that mean?
It means crazy man.
I asked someone a long time ago, I said, I'm going to call my Korean friend. It was another Korean friend of mine. And I said, how do you say, hello, how are you? He goes, oh, I think you say, you could say Michim Namja. So I call her up and I say, hey, Unchong. I said, Michim Namja. She goes, what? You crazy? I was like, oh my God. So I call the other guy back. In fact, he was a district attorney. He's just dying laughing. James Shin. He was a district attorney, and he's just picks up the phone and he's laughing. He goes, "Yeah, I got you with that one." Okay, start law school at 13 years old while you are simultaneously going to junior high at Oxford.
Yes.
Oxford is an actual school. It's not an online school, right?
Yes, it was actually ranked number 1 in California high schools at one point.
Of course, you probably brought up the grade point average, right? Did the other kids look at you like, what the heck?
Well, they actually didn't know. I kept it a secret while I was attending until I think the middle of 9th grade, when I decided I'm probably going to graduate early. I let my friends know. Oh. And then they were like going crazy, like, I'm never going to tell my mom about you because they're going to compare me to you. And I was like, okay. Yeah, but I kind of kept it pretty low. Yeah.
Okay. 2020. 2022, you graduate high school by passing the California Proficiency Exam. They call it a CHSPE. We used to call it the GED, right?
Oh, it's a separate exam.
Okay, it's a separate exam. Okay. And then you graduate from Northwestern California Law in 2024. So within that 4-year period of what would normally be high school, in fact, even before high school is done, you're graduated from high school, college, and law school, right?
So college I actually got my bachelor's degree while I was attending law school.
That's right. In what?
In educational studies.
You leave your friends behind, and I don't mean that in a bad way. At some point, you've moved far surpassed them as far as what your life goals are and stuff. And at some point, obviously, you diverge from the interactions with them, maybe?
No, I still kept in contact with them, but I think I was more of the friend that's more introverted, and they'll initiate conversation. So I think my best friends are my siblings, and I have 3 of them. So, and also my parents too. We're a very fun, happy family in our house. So yeah, I think there wasn't too much of a disconnect.
No, that's sweet coming from with 2 brothers that I have, because I always say that they're my best friends because we traveled across the country. My dad was in the military. We always did everything together, and every year or 2 years we'd have to make new friends and stuff. So I understand that concept that you have there. But at some point, you are now going through all these things quickly, and I asked your brother the same thing. At some point, do you sit there and you say, God, am I missing out on something? Did at any moment in your very young brain, very smart, but and very mature, I got to say, just talking to you, and you're not introverted at all. I could tell by as far as the radio is concerned. At some point, did you sit there and say, gee, my friends are still out on the soccer field playing and studying constitutional law like George Washington and whatever, and I'm graduating from high school, college, law school?
So, yes, I did think about this multiple times for extended periods of time. Even when I was deciding to go to law school, I think my brother was, sure, it's a challenge, I'll go for it. I think my approach was more cautious, like, is this something I really want to go into? And I seriously considered it. I thought, if I was going the traditional path, I could have gone to like an Ivy League law school, and I thought I could be doing very good. But then I chose this early path, and I really pondered about that. And my conclusion was, because I started so young, I can help a lot of people because I have more time to help more people. I'll have more experience by the time they're graduating. People my age are graduating out of law school. And I think my big goal in life is to really help people.
Your quote was, and I was going to save it for the end, I want to serve justice and ensure that victims' voices are heard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, I know that because I started on this unique path, I will be able to achieve things that my peers won't have the exact time to do. I still respect their path, but I do believe that I enjoy the path that I'm on. I'm meeting so many wonderful people, like Mr. Ward, Mr. Kapetan. I would never have gotten...
you got that one wrong. On both accounts, I think. No. Like I said, and I'll say it publicly again, Tim Ward was my favorite DA down at the Tulare County District Attorney's Office. Sorry to all the other friends that I had down there, but we just got along, and maybe just we thought alike. I don't know. Okay, so you got that aside, Dad, and I know Dad had given you guys the challenge, and it seems like that's part of the fun of it. And were there moments where as a young girl you're sitting in your room crying going, gee, am I doing the right thing for myself?
Yes, actually, there were many times where I would really seriously think about this. But again, I think, I didn't know a single attorney before I started law school.
Your brother? He wasn't an attorney at the time.
Yet, so
we were studying law.
Yes,
same time.
Yes, and then now just looking back at what I've accomplished so far, the people I've met, and I know judges the judges know me on a first name and last name basis. They know me personally. Same with so many DAs. There's defense attorneys, and I wouldn't have been able to meet these people and learn from them if it hadn't been for this unique path. And
by the way,
very grateful for
those judges were the same young person like you studying law school, much years later. But don't let them push you around. They were in the same position you were. You'll be there one day too. We'll be right back with Sophia Park, who's the youngest attorney to ever pass the California bar, and her brother right behind her. All right, we'll be right back after this. And Tim Ward. We'll see you right after this. This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Folks, the sponsor of today's show for the Kapetan Brothers, for the Marc Kapetan Show. Man, I went all the way back 4 years to the Kapetan Brothers show. Is the Arc Mediterranean Grill. By the way, Marcella, we actually go to the Arc Mediterranean Grill. You love the, what is it? Chicken kebabs. Chicken kebabs. I love the Lulu kebab. If you need lunch for your office, or if you need dinner for the house, you could pick it up on the way home. My buddy Rob Saroyan always picks up Arc Mediterranean Grill, and he'll take big, huge platters home. And the Akisian brothers over there are the greatest guys, and they'll make you some great Mediterranean food. So thanks to the Akisian brothers and Arc Mediterranean Grill, 2 locations, one in Fresno, one in Clovis. We are back on with Sophia Park, Peter Park from the District Attorney's Office in Tulare County, and their boss, Tim Ward, the District Attorney of Tulare County. Sophia is the youngest person to ever pass the California bar. Her brother last year was the youngest person to ever pass the California bar, so they are creating a dynasty over there at the Tulare County District Attorney's Office. I did it because my dad asked me, do you want to go to law school, Sophia? And I said, no, I have no aspirations to go to law school. He goes, oh yeah, your brothers did it, because I had 2 brothers who went to law school too. And so you have now a 3rd sibling, younger sister named
Sarah.
She's in law school right now too?
Yes.
If she gets through law school and passes the bar on her first time, it'll be 17 years and how many months?
7 months.
In 7 months. She will beat you by 1 month.
Yes.
And you have every expectation that she's going to follow through and do it, huh?
Yes.
She's getting better grades than us in law school.
I have a note here about sibling rivalries, and Peter just said it with a bullet, basically said she's getting better grades than all of us.
Maybe better than Peter. I think my grades are
Oh, see, there it is. I wanted to hear that. I had a question, who's smarter, but I'm not going to ask you who's smarter. I'm going to ask it this way. Who was more in tune with being a lawyer, and who's more in tune with being a prosecutor versus is anybody more destined to be a defense attorney?
So my older brother, actually first wanted to become a public defender. That's what he went around saying, and I was like, I'm going to be a DA.
Okay, Peter.
That's what I didn't know, like the field. I've never been in a courtroom. That's when I was saying, like,
you don't have to apologize for us defense attorneys.
Well, okay. So I still think public defender and defense attorneys, they have a great job. It's like we're on the same side of the same coin of justice. Except now that I'm working and in court now, I really like being a prosecutor, and I think I made a very good decision going to become a prosecutor. Specifically at the Tulare County District Attorney's Office.
Okay, speaking of which, by the way, I think attorneys should be both. I think they should be a prosecutor and a defense attorney. I think they should get experience. I think they should require it in criminal law that they do both, and maybe even switch every few years, because it is a matter of doing justice for your client and a matter of doing justice in the law for you as the prosecutor. Let's talk about district attorneys. You worked initially as an intern down where?
In Los Angeles, specifically at the Bellflower office.
Which was headed by who?
It was Deputy in Charge Kenneth Mall.
No, I'm talking about your head guy. Your head guy.
Head guy. It was
Gascon. Gascon, yes. I meant to say Gascon. Yeah.
Yes.
Very controversial, right?
I guess so, yes.
Ever have any interaction with him?
I believe I did take one picture with him. They had an event for all of the summer interns to go to the main building downtown and
but he didn't know you
picture, but no personal interaction.
He didn't know you were in law school or anything like that?
I don't believe I had any direct communication with him.
Because he was a very defense-oriented person, even though he was the prosecutor. Yeah. So you can't compare whether Tim Ward is a nicer district attorney than...
Well, I have had personal interactions with Mr. Ward, and he is very kind to me and is a very helpful resource. So I guess because my experience with Mr. Gascon is very limited, the only opinion I can give is that Mr. Ward is amazing.
Well, believe me, from everything we hear about Gascon, I think you picked the better prosecutor to work for. So, okay. Dad now... and I guess with the help of you guys, has written a book called Fast Track Attorney that you could buy on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Once again, in line with Peter, I think you were doing some computer stuff, and again, the family working together. And the book is about your lives, or more of a process of how to get through it, Peter?
It's more like an instruction manual if anybody wants to follow in our footsteps, becoming an attorney at a young age, or just faster than a normal person would. Even if you graduated high school traditionally, I think this book is a good read to kind of learn the system and see how what kind of shortcuts are available.
I was thinking, great, now we're going to have a bunch of attorneys who have fast-tracked their way through the system. And listen, the ultimate goal is to pass the bar exam. But what's amazing, Tim, is that, and I'm afraid of some of the people that may come through on a fast track, these two seem to have the maturity of an adult prosecutor.
Yeah, when Peter's story kind of broke, it went national, and you know that. And I would do interviews, and I would get this common question or retort or position of that somehow it demeaned the profession if this guy, if this kid can do it. But I think I appreciate you giving some coverage to this. I think after listening to two of them, anyone that's listening to this show go, oh, I get it now. I see why.
Yeah. What's the one thing in court, Sophia, that you sat, and I asked, I think, Peter the same thing, that you sat and were in court and said, gee, my age must be the reason why I'm having a hard time understanding this concept, or it's throwing me a little bit. Where's the one time in court where you said age may be a factor here?
I don't think I've had that experience so far. Yeah. I guess there's nothing that shocking to me, because if I do have a question, I just ask the attorneys that are in court right away, and I ask many questions, so to keep track of them all.
Let me jump in. Sophia, as a certified law clerk, how many preliminary hearings did you do for us?
I believe I've done around 17.
17 prelims?
Yeah.
How many were held to answer?
Majority of them.
Majority or all 17? As Peter wanted you to say, just say all 17. Just say it.
All 17.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great one. No. Folks, a preliminary hearing is basically a mini trial, and you have to prepare just as much as trial. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any defense work in your future?
Maybe. I might consider it, yes.
You want to come over and do a case for us? This has been Sophia Park, the youngest attorney to ever pass the California bar, beating her big brother by 3 months, right, Peter? Proud of her, right?
Yes, very proud.
And the boss man, Tim Ward from the Tulare County, all three from the Tulare County District Attorney's Office. Soon, it's going to be a District Attorney Parks throughout the District Attorney's Office over there, right? Right, Tim?
We'll have one in each division.
One in each division, he says. Yeah, thanks. Sophia, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you. Peter, once again, you're becoming old hat for me. Thanks for coming back.
It's a pleasure being on.
And we'll see you in next year with Sarah, your sister, right?
Yes.
All right. This is the Marc Kapetan Show. Thanks to my wonderful producer, Marcellus Lorio Taylor. We'll see you next week on KMJ.